Commander Han Sol walked through the bright halls of the Galactic Council station. His black uniform looked plain next to the colorful robes and strange armor worn by alien delegates. Behind him, Lieutenant Nari carried a small case with Earth's documents. Today was the day humans would finally become full members of the galaxy. The station was huge. It floated in space around a giant gas planet with purple clouds. Ships from dozens of worlds docked here every day. Han Sol had been here many times over the past 3 years, but today felt different. Today, humanity would get the respect they deserved. "Commander, are you ready?" Nari asked softly. She was nervous. Han Sol could see it in her eyes. "We have been ready for years," Han Sol replied. "Earth has given them medical technology that saved millions of lives. Our engineers helped build better ships. We even terraformed Mars to show what humans can do. They have to accept us now." The main council chamber was a huge round room with 12 seats arranged in a circle. Each seat was different, made for the alien species that sat there. The Drakmari liked heat, so their seats were warm and red. The insect-like hive members preferred cool blue chairs. The ghostly ethereal Federation had seats that seemed to float in the air. Chancellor Vex was the leader of the council. He was tall and covered in green scales, with yellow eyes that never seemed to blink. When he spoke, his voice was deep and cold. Next to him sat Prime Minister Crix, whose bug-like head twitched as she watched Han Sol enter. "Commander Han Sol of Earth," Chancellor Vex announced, "you have requested full membership in our council. Please present your case." Han Sol stepped forward. He had practiced this speech 100 times. "Honored council members, for 3 years Earth has worked with you in peace. We have shared our knowledge and helped solve problems across the galaxy. Our doctors created new medicines. Our engineers built better fusion reactors. We even helped the Zenthari Republic fix their food shortage." He pressed a button on his tablet. Images appeared in the air showing human achievements. Hospitals on alien worlds using Earth medicine. Ships powered by human-designed engines. Crops growing on dead planets using human farming methods. "Humans want only friendship and trade," Han Sol continued. "We ask for nothing except the chance to work together for a better galaxy." The council members whispered among themselves in their strange languages. Han Sol thought he saw some nodding heads, which gave him hope. Maybe today would be a good day after all. Then Ambassador Theiss of the Ethereal Federation stood up. She was tall and thin, almost see-through, with silver skin that seemed to glow. When she spoke, her voice was like music, but the words were not beautiful. "Honored Council," Theiss said, "I must share important information about the humans." Han Sol felt his heart stop. This was not part of the plan. Nari stepped closer to him, her hand moving toward her weapon. "Our intelligence services have discovered the truth about Earth," Theiss continued. "These humans are not the peaceful friends they pretend to be. They are violent, dangerous, and planning to take over our galaxy." The chamber fell silent. Han Sol felt like the air had been sucked out of the room. "That is not true," he said, loudly. "Earth has never threatened anyone." Theiss smiled, but it was not a kind smile. "The evidence speaks for itself." New images appeared in the air. They showed Earth's military ships, but the numbers were wrong. They showed human soldiers training, but the scenes looked more violent than they really were. Worst of all, they showed fake documents that made it look like Earth was planning to attack alien worlds. "These are lies," Nari shouted. "Someone made these up." "The evidence is clear," Chancellor Vex said with his cold voice. "Humans cannot be trusted. They use their gifts to hide their true nature." Han Sol's mind raced. How could this be happening? 3 years of friendship, 3 years of helping others, and now they were being called liars and killers. "Please let us explain. These images are false. Someone has tricked you." Prime Minister Crix clicked her mandibles together, making a sound like breaking glass. "The vote has already been decided. All in favor of declaring humanity a galactic threat?" One by one, 12 hands, claws, and tentacles rose into the air. 12 voices said yes. Not a single council member spoke for Earth. The Galactic Council hereby declares humanity a threat to galactic peace, Chancellor Vex announced. Earth has 72 hours to surrender all off-world assets and accept protective oversight. If you refuse, we will enforce this decision, Han Sol felt the world spinning around him. You are making a terrible mistake. We came here as friends. Friendship? Theiss laughed, and the sound was like broken bells. You really think we see you as equals? You are children playing with toys you do not understand. We let you help us because it amused us. But now we see what you really are. 3 days, Chancellor, Vex repeated. Surrender your colonies, your ships, your weapons. Accept our peacekeepers on your world, or face the consequences. Han Sol and Nari were escorted out of the chamber by guards. As they walked back to their ship, Nari was shaking with anger. How could they do this to us after everything we gave them? They planned this from the beginning, Han Sol realized. They never intended to make us members. They wanted our technology, and now they want to control us. Back on their ship, Han Sol sent an emergency message to Earth. The transmission would take hours to reach home, but he had to warn them. He sat in his captain's chair and began recording. Dr. Sujin, General Taeho, President So-young, the Council has betrayed us. They call us a threat and demand our surrender. We have 3 days before they attack. He paused, thinking of his wife and children back on Earth. I'm sorry we failed. But maybe it's time they learned what humans are really capable of when we're angry. On Luna Base, Dr. Sujin received the message 6 hours later. She was a small woman with sharp eyes and gray hair, but when she heard Han Sol's words, her face became hard as stone. She immediately called General Taeho on Earth. General, we have a problem, she said. The Council has declared war on us. General, Taeho was an old soldier with scars on his hands from ancient battles. He listened to the message twice before speaking. So they want to see what humans can do when we stop being nice? It seems so, Dr. Sujin replied. Then God help them, the general said quietly, because we sure won't. The betrayal was complete. Humanity had offered friendship and been answered with threats. They had shared their knowledge and been called liars. They had worked for peace and been declared enemies. But the aliens had made one very big mistake. They thought they knew what humans were capable of. They were wrong. Very wrong. And in 72 hours they were going to find out just how wrong they had been. President So-young sat at the head of the emergency meeting table in Geneva. Around her were the most important people on Earth. General Taeho had flown in from military headquarters. Dr. Sujin joined from Luna Base by video link. Admiral Jin Woo was there with his fleet commanders. Everyone looked angry and worried. Let me understand this, President So-young said slowly. The Galactic Council wants us to give up all our colonies, surrender our entire space fleet, and let alien soldiers come to Earth? That's correct, Madam President, General Taeho confirmed. They think we're too dangerous to be free. Dr. Sujin's face appeared on the big screen. They used our own technology against us, the medical scanners we gave them, the communication systems, even the food production methods. They took everything we shared and called us liars. Admiral Jinwoo, a tall man with gray hair and steady hands, spoke up. Madam President, our public fleet has 200 ships. Intelligence reports say the Council has over 50,000 ships. If we fight them openly, we will lose. If we fight them openly, President So-young repeated. She looked around the table. But we're not going to fight them openly, are we? The room was quiet for a moment. Then General Taeho smiled for the first time that day. No, Madam President, we are not. Dr. Sujin cleared her throat. Perhaps it's time to discuss the Shadow Protocol. Everyone in the room knew about the Shadow Protocol, but they had hoped never to use it. For 20 years, ever since first contact with aliens, Earth had been preparing for this day. While they shared medical technology and farming techniques with the galaxy, they had been secretly developing weapons and defenses. Dr. Boram, please join us, President So-young said. A door opened and a young woman entered. Dr. Boram looked like she belonged in a university classroom, not a war meeting. She was small and quiet, with thick glasses and clothes that didn't quite fit. But she was the smartest person on Earth when it came to advanced weapons. Dr. Boram, the president said, please tell us what we have. Boram opened her tablet and the room's screens came alive with information. The quantum torpedo project is complete. We have 5,000 warheads that can punch through any known shield technology. The AI drone program has produced 50,000 unmanned fighters. Each one is controlled by our most advanced computer systems. Admiral Jin Woo leaned forward. What about our stealth technology? Better than we hoped, Boram replied. Our ships can become completely invisible to alien sensors. We tested it last month when Captain Yunho took the destroyer Vengeance through Council space. He mapped every single one of their fleet positions. They never saw him. General Tae-ho was taking notes. Troop strength? We have been training special forces for 15 years, Boram continued. Not just Earth forces, but humans who have been living on alien worlds as traders and diplomats. They know every weakness of every council species. President So Young felt a cold satisfaction growing in her chest. How long have our people been in place? Since the beginning, Dr. Sujin answered from the screen. Engineer So Ra has been working on the Zenthari Republic's main shipyard for 2 years. Commander Gitai has been mapping Hive communication networks for 3 years. Lieutenant Commander Mijin has been studying Drakmari military tactics from inside their own academy. They let us in, Admiral Jinwoo realized. They thought we were harmless, so they let us get close to everything important. Exactly, Boram said. While they were deciding whether to make us members, we were learning how to destroy them. The president stood up and walked to the big window that looked out over Lake Geneva. The water was calm and blue, peaceful. In a few hours, that peace would be over forever. Admiral Jinwoo, what is the status of our fleet? The public fleet is holding position near Mars, exactly where the Council expects them to be, the Admiral reported. The Shadow Fleet is scattered across the solar system, completely hidden. We have ships the Council has never seen, with weapons they can't imagine. And our colonies. All civilian populations have been moved to secure locations. General Tae-ho said, the colonies look empty, but they're actually full of automated defenses and surprise weapons. President So Young turned back to the table. When do we expect their first attack? Intelligence suggests they'll send an enforcement fleet within hours of the deadline, Dr. Sujin said. Probably the first enforcement fleet under Admiral Corps of the Zenthari Republic. 500 ships, all heavy cruisers and battleships. 500 ships against our 200. Admiral Jinwoo mused. They think those are good odds. They are good odds, Boram said quietly. For us. President So Young sat back down. Recommendations? General Tae-ho spoke first. Let them come to Earth. Let them think they're winning. Then show them what humans do to people who threaten our home. Admiral Jinwoo nodded. Agreed. The closer they get, the more surprised they'll be when our real fleet appears. Dr. Boram, are our weapons ready? Everything is ready, Madam President. We've been ready for years. President So Young looked around the table one more time. These people had spent decades preparing for this moment, hoping it would never come. But now that it was here, she could see they were not afraid. They were eager. Very well, she said. Send a message to Commander Hansol. Tell him to come home immediately. Then send a message to the Galactic Council. What should the message say? Dr. Sujin asked. President So Young thought for a moment. Tell them we decline their generous offer. Tell them Earth will remain free and any attempt to enforce their decision will be met with appropriate force. That's going to make them very angry, Admiral Jinwoo warned. Good, the president replied. Angry enemies make mistakes. And when they make mistakes, people die. She stood up again. Ladies and gentlemen, for 3 years we tried to be their friends. We shared our knowledge, helped their people, and asked for nothing except respect. They have shown us that the galaxy respects only strength. So we'll give them strength, General Tae-ho said. More strength than they ever imagined. President So-young confirmed. Dr. Boram, activate the Shadow Protocol. Admiral Jin Woo, prepare our fleets. General Taeho, alert our agents on every council world. What about the public? Dr. Su-jin asked. Do we tell people what's coming? President So-young walked toward the door. Tell them to be proud. Tell them that today humanity stops apologizing for being human. As the meeting broke up, each person had their orders. Within hours, the most advanced military force in the galaxy would be moving toward Earth. They expected to find frightened primitives begging for mercy. Instead, they were going to find something the galaxy had never seen before. They were going to find angry humans who had stopped pretending to be weak, and that was going to be the biggest mistake in galactic history. Admiral Kor stood on the bridge of his flagship, the Crushing Victory. Around him, 500 ships of the First Enforcement Fleet moved through space toward Earth. He was proud of his fleet. These were the best ships in the galaxy, crewed by experienced warriors from the Zinthari Republic. Admiral, we are approaching the human home system, his communications officer reported. Kor smiled, showing his sharp teeth. This would be easy. Humans had maybe 200 small ships. His fleet could destroy them in minutes. Then the humans would surrender, and he would be famous across the galaxy as the admiral who conquered Earth. Open communications to the human fleet, he ordered. On his screen appeared Admiral Wu Jin, the human fleet commander. The man looked calm, which annoyed Kor. Humans should be scared when they saw his mighty fleet. Human Admiral, Kor said in his deep voice. I am Admiral Kor, of the Galactic Council. You will surrender immediately or be destroyed. Admiral Wu Jin was quiet for a moment. Then he said something that surprised Kor. You chose this. What did you say? Kor demanded. I said you chose this, Wu Jin repeated. We offered you friendship. You chose war. So now you get war. Kor laughed. Human, look at your screens. You have 200 ships. I have 500. This is not war. This is punishment. You're right, Admiral Wu Jin said. This is punishment, but not for us. The transmission ended. Kor was confused for a moment, then angry. How dare a human speak to him that way? He would make them pay for their disrespect. All ships, prepare for battle, he ordered. Target the human vessels. When I give the word, destroy them all. Roy. His tactical officer was studying the sensors. Admiral, I'm reading exactly 200 human ships. They're arranged in a defensive formation around Earth. Perfect, Kor said. They're making this easy for us. The two fleets faced each other, in the darkness of space. Kor's ships were huge and powerful, painted in the red and gold colors of the Zinthari Republic. The human ships looked small and weak in comparison. Admiral, his weapons officer said, all ships report ready to fire. Kor was about to give the order to attack when something impossible happened. Half the human ships simply vanished from his sensors. What? He shouted. Where did they go? I don't know, sir. The tactical officer replied, panic in his voice. They just disappeared. Then Kor's ships began exploding. The first explosions came from nowhere. His sensors showed empty space, but his ships were dying. The heavy cruiser, Iron Fist, erupted in flames. The battleship Eternal Glory broke in half. The destroyer Swift Death was gone in seconds. What's happening? Kor screamed. Unknown weapons, sir, the tactical officer reported. I can't see where they're coming from. Then the human ships that were still visible started moving. But they moved in ways that should have been impossible. They turned too fast, accelerated too quickly, and their weapons were far more powerful than intelligence reports had said. Captain Hyeon Soo led a squadron of human fighters that seemed to appear from nothing. His ships materialized inside the alien formation, causing chaos and confusion. The aliens had never fought enemies who could become invisible. This is Hyeon Soo to all units, he transmitted. Target their command ships first. Make them blind and deaf. The human fighters swarmed through the alien fleet like angry wasps. They were too small for the big alien guns to target, but their weapons cut through alien armor like it was paper. Commander Yoonji was coordinating the orbital defense platforms around Earth. These stations had looked like simple communication, relays to alien spies. Now they revealed their true purpose as massive weapons platforms. Orbital Station 7, Target the battleship group at grid reference 47, she ordered. Target acquired, came the reply. Firing quantum torpedo. Spread. The alien battleships never saw the torpedoes coming. The weapons moved at nearly the speed of light and went right through alien shields. When they hit, entire ships simply ceased to exist. Admiral Kor watched his fleet die around him. In 30 minutes, he had lost over 100 ships. The humans had lost exactly 0. How is this possible? He asked his science officer. Their technology is far beyond our estimates, the officer replied. Their stealth systems, their weapons, their ships, everything is more advanced than we thought. That's impossible, Kor insisted. Our intelligence said they were primitives. Another explosion rocked his ship. The humans were using some kind of weapon that could punch through any armor. His shields were useless. His weapons couldn't hit targets he couldn't see. Captain Yunho brought his stealth destroyer Vengeance right alongside Kor's flagship. The alien ship was 10 times bigger, but that just made it an easier target. This is Captain Yunho to Alien, flagship, he transmitted. Do you want to know how we did this? Kor's communications officer looked at him in confusion. Sir, there's a human ship right next to us, but I can't see it on sensors. Put him on screen, Kor ordered. Captain Yunho appeared, smiling. Hello, Admiral Kor. We met before, but you didn't know it. I've been following your fleet for 3 months, mapping your every weakness. That's impossible, Kor said. Our sensors would have detected you. Your sensors are toys compared to our technology, Yunho replied. We've been watching you, studying you, learning everything about you, and now we're going to destroy you. Wait, Kor said desperately. We can negotiate. We can make a deal. Yunho's smile disappeared. You had your chance to make a deal. You called us friends, then betrayed us. You threatened our home, now you pay the price. The Vengeance fired a single torpedo into the crushing Victory's reactor core. Admiral Kor had just enough time to realize that his intelligence had been completely wrong about human capabilities before his ship exploded. In 6 hours, the entire First Enforcement Fleet was destroyed. Not a single human ship was damaged. The battle was so one-sided that it was embarrassing. Commander Jae-min was in charge of communications for the human fleet. As the last alien ship exploded, he opened a channel to every alien world in the galaxy. Attention, Galactic Council, he transmitted. This was your First Enforcement Fleet. You sent 500 ships to conquer Earth. None of them are coming home. We are sending you the battle recordings so you can see exactly what happened to them. The recordings showed everything. They showed human ships appearing from nowhere, alien vessels exploding helplessly, and the complete destruction of what had been considered an unstoppable force. Send your second fleet, Jae-min continued. Send your third, send them all. We'll be waiting. On worlds across the galaxy, alien leaders watched the recordings in shock. The humans they had dismissed as primitive had just destroyed the most powerful fleet in council space, without losing a single ship. Chancellor Vex threw his datapad across the room in rage. How is this possible? How did they hide this technology? Prime, Minister Crix was making clicking sounds of distress. We have made a terrible mistake. These humans are not what they seemed. Ambassador Thys was pale. Her usual glow dimmed with fear. What have we done? What have we awakened? But it was too late for regrets. The war had begun, and humanity had just announced to the galaxy that they were not the victims everyone expected them to be. They were something far more dangerous. They were humans who had stopped pretending to be weak. And the galaxy was about to learn why that was the most terrifying thing in the universe. Chancellor Vex slammed his clawed fist on the council table. The sound echoed through the emergency meeting chamber, where representatives from every member species had gathered. The destruction of the First Enforcement Fleet had shaken the entire galaxy. This cannot stand, Vex hissed. These humans have humiliated us. They must be crushed completely. Prime Minister Crix clicked her mandibles nervously. Chancellor, perhaps we should reconsider. Their technology is clearly more advanced than we thought. No, Vex snarled. We will mobilize every fleet, every ship, every warrior. The humans will learn what happens when you defy the Galactic Council. Ambassador Thys floated near her chair, her silver skin flickering with worry. We should at least try to negotiate. Maybe we can reach some kind of agreement. They destroyed 500 of our ships without losing a single vessel, Vex said coldly. There will be no negotiations, only total war. The order went out across the galaxy. Every council member species was commanded to send their fleets to join the war against humanity. The Drakmari Empire contributed their fire ships. The Hive Collective sent their swarm fleets. Even the peaceful gentlefolk were forced to provide support vessels. Within days, over 10,000 ships were gathering in council space. It was the largest military force ever assembled in galactic history. Surely no species, no matter how advanced, could stand against such overwhelming numbers. But the humans had been busy too. On the Drakmari homeworld of Scorched Rock, Agent Dong Hyun sat in a small cafe near the Planetary Defense Center. He looked like just another human trader, selling Earth coffee and chocolate to alien customers. No one suspected he was actually a highly trained operative who had been planning for this moment for 3 years. System access confirmed, he whispered into his hidden communicator. Beginning upload now. The virus he released into the Drakmari Fleet Command Network was a masterpiece of human engineering. It spread through their systems like wildfire, changing identification codes and targeting data. When the Drakmari ships tried to coordinate their attacks, they would end up firing on each other instead of human vessels. On the Hive Queen's world, Specialist Yu Jin worked in the central telepathic relay station. The insect-like aliens communicated through shared thoughts, making their fleets incredibly coordinated. But Yu Jin had spent 2 years studying their biology and had developed something special. The nanobots she released were invisible to Hive scanners. They spread through the telepathic network like a disease, disrupting the mental connections between ships. Soon, the Hive fleets would be deaf and blind, unable to coordinate any attacks. Similar sabotage was happening on dozens of worlds. Human agents who had lived among aliens for years were now revealing their true purpose. Power stations failed, communication networks crashed, weapons factories exploded. Admiral Seiram commanded the human shadow fleet from her flagship, Earth's Fury. Unlike the visible fleet that had fought at Earth, her ships were completely unknown to alien intelligence. They had been built in secret, shipyards hidden in asteroid belts and behind gas giants. All units prepare for Operation Thunderstrike, she ordered. We hit fast, we hit hard, and we vanish before they know what happened. Her fleet used quantum tunnel technology that allowed them to appear anywhere in the galaxy instantly. The aliens had no defense against attacks that came from nowhere and disappeared just as quickly. Captain Jun Seo took his ship, Silent Death, through a quantum tunnel that opened right next to the Council's main shipyard. The facility was massive, capable of building 100 ships at once. It was also completely undefended, because who would be crazy enough to attack the heart of Council space? Quantum charges placed, Jun Seo reported. 30 seconds to detonation. The explosion destroyed not just the shipyard, but also the 50 ships under construction there. In one attack, Jun Seo had eliminated half of the Council's shipbuilding capacity. Commander Dahaye led raids on alien research stations, stealing their most advanced technology. Human scientists studied these alien innovations and improved them within weeks. What took alien species decades to develop, humans mastered in days. Dr. Haiwan was working around the clock in her laboratory on Luna Base. She had samples of DNA from every Council species, and she was using them to create very specific weapons. A gas that was harmless to humans but deadly to Drakmari. A frequency that scrambled Hive nervous systems. A light pattern that caused seizures in ethereal Federation members. Each species has weaknesses, she explained to her research team. We just need to find them and exploit them. Engineer Wanho was designing new ships faster than the aliens could adapt to them. His latest creation was a fighter that could change its shape during battle, making it impossible for alien weapons to get a target lock. If they can't hit us, they can't hurt us, he said simply. The war that the Council expected to end quickly was dragging on for months. Every day brought new disasters for the alien alliance. Fleets disappeared without sending distress signals. Colonies went dark overnight. Supply lines were cut by invisible attackers. General Mei Ri coordinated all human operations from a hidden command center on Earth. Her wall was covered with maps showing alien worlds, each one marked with the location of human agents and planned attacks. "Status report," she ordered. "Drakmari fleet coordination is down by 80%, reported her intelligence officer. "Hive telepathic networks are failing across 7-star systems. The Zenthari Republic has lost contact with half their colonies. And our casualties? Minimal. We've lost 12 ships total, mainly to accidents. Enemy casualties are in the hundreds of thousands." Mayri smiled grimly. The aliens had wanted to see what humans were capable of when they stopped being nice. Now they were finding out. But the most shocking development came when alien species started switching sides. The gentle folk were the first, announcing that they would no longer support the war against humanity. They were followed by the Crystal Singers, then the Deep Swimmers. Diplomat Kyung-min was meeting secretly with representatives from a dozen different species. Many aliens were beginning to realize that the Council had made a terrible mistake by attacking humanity. "We offer protection," Kyung-min told a gathering of alien ambassadors. "Join us and we will guarantee your safety. Stay with the Council, and you will share their fate." The message was clear. Humanity was winning this war so completely that other species were abandoning their old allies to join the humans. Back on the Council station, Chancellor Vex was receiving reports of one disaster after another. Half their fleets were destroyed or disabled. Their supply chains were broken, their allies were deserting them. "How is this possible?" he demanded. "We have fought wars for thousands of years. How can these young humans be defeating us so easily?" Prime Minister Crix had the answer, though she didn't want to admit it. "They planned this for years. While we thought they were harmless friends, they were studying us, learning our weaknesses, preparing for war. And now they're using everything they learned against us," Ambassador Thess added quietly. The truth was simple and terrifying. Humans had spent 3 years pretending to be weak while actually becoming the most dangerous species in the galaxy. They had used the aliens' own arrogance against them, getting close enough to learn every secret, every weakness, every vulnerability. Now, that knowledge was being used to destroy the very species that had been foolish enough to trust them. The galaxy was learning a hard lesson about what happened when you betrayed humanity. And the lesson was written in fire across 1,000 burning worlds. The once mighty Galactic Council station looked like a ghost ship floating in space. Half the docking bays were empty. The bright lights that had welcomed visitors from across the galaxy were dim and flickering. Most alien species had either switched sides or simply stopped participating in the war. Admiral Jinwoo stood on the bridge of his flagship, Humanity's Pride, as it approached the station. Behind him followed a fleet of ships that represented the new reality of galactic power. Human technology now surpassed anything the aliens had ever imagined. "Admiral," his communications officer reported, "we're receiving a transmission from the station. Chancellor Vex is requesting permission to surrender." Jinwoo almost smiled. 6 months ago, these same aliens had demanded Earth's surrender. Now they were begging for mercy. "Tell them we'll consider their request after we discuss terms." The human fleet took position around the Council station. There were no alien warships left to oppose them. The few remaining Council vessels were either destroyed, disabled, or had switched sides to join humanity. Dr. Sujin joined the meeting by video link from Luna Base. Her laboratory had become the center of human technological development. "Admiral, our latest developments are ready to demonstrate." "What do we have?" Jinwoo asked. "Faster-than-light communication that works instantly across the galaxy, gravity manipulation technology that can move planets, energy weapons that can crack moons in half. We're not just ahead of them now, Admiral. We're centuries ahead." President So Young appeared on another screen from Earth. "The aliens who once looked down on us as primitives are now terrified of what we might do next." How things change. The main docking bay of the Council station had been cleared for the surrender ceremony. Chancellor Vex waited there with the remaining Council members. His green scales had lost their shine, and his yellow eyes darted nervously around the room. Prime Minister Crix clicked her mandibles in distress. Her hive fleets had been completely destroyed by human nanobots that she still didn't understand. Ambassador Thus floated near the wall, her silver glow dimmed to almost nothing. Admiral Jinwoo entered the bay with a small honor guard. He wore the simple black uniform of Earth's Space Force, but everyone in the room knew he now commanded the most powerful military in the galaxy. Chancellor Vex, Jinwoo said formally, you requested this meeting. Vex's voice shook when he spoke. Admiral, the Galactic Council formally surrenders. We ask for mercy. Mercy? Jinwoo repeated. That's interesting. When you attacked Earth, did you plan to show us mercy? We made a mistake, Prime Minister Crix said quickly. We were wrong about humanity. We see that now. Yes, you were wrong. President So-young's voice came from speakers around the room. You thought we were weak because we chose to be peaceful. You thought we were stupid because we shared our knowledge. You thought we were primitive because we didn't threaten our neighbors. Admiral Jinwoo walked to the center of the room. The Galactic Council is hereby dissolved. All member species will sign new treaties with the Human Star Empire. Human Star Empire? Vex asked weakly. Earth is no longer interested in joining your council, General Tejo announced as he entered the bay. We're establishing our own government for this part of the galaxy. Any species that wants our protection will apply to us. The terms were harsh but fair. All species that had attacked humanity would pay reparations. War criminals would be tried by human courts. Any species that had committed atrocities during the war would be occupied by human peacekeepers. But species that had helped humanity or remained neutral would be offered partnership and protection. The humans were not interested in conquest for its own sake. They wanted security and respect. Commander Yunho brought disturbing news from the Outer Rim. Several alien species are gathering fleets in the Andromeda sector. Intelligence suggests they're planning to continue the war. General Tejo looked at Admiral Jinwoo. Orders, sir? Show them what happened to the Council fleets, Jinwoo replied. Any species that wants to test human resolve is welcome to try. Dr. Haiwan had prepared demonstrations of humanity's new weapons. A single human ship used a gravity weapon to tear apart an abandoned space station that was the size of a small moon. Another ship demonstrated planet-cracking technology by splitting an uninhabited asteroid in half. The message was clear. Humanity now possessed weapons that could destroy entire worlds. Any species foolish enough to continue fighting would face complete annihilation. Within weeks, the remaining rebel fleets surrendered without firing a shot. No one wanted to face weapons that could destroy planets. The galaxy that had once dismissed Earth as a minor species now organized itself around human power. Trade routes were planned around human-controlled systems. Diplomatic disputes were brought to human arbitrators. Military planning assumed human approval. Captain Yunho led expeditions to map and secure the galaxy's outer regions. His stealth ships watched every system, ensuring that no threat to human interests could develop undetected. We have agents and observers everywhere, he reported to Admiral Jinwoo. Nothing happens in this galaxy without us knowing about it. The transformation was complete. Humanity had gone from applicants seeking council membership to the dominant power controlling galactic civilization. The species that had betrayed them now served them, but the humans had learned important lessons from their experience. They would never again trust others to protect human interests. They would never again share technology without getting something valuable in return, and they would never again tolerate threats to human worlds. President So-young addressed the galaxy from Earth in a speech that was broadcast to every inhabited world. We offered you friendship, and you answered with betrayal. We shared our knowledge, and you called us liars. We worked for peace, and you declared war on us. Her voice was calm but cold. You taught us that the galaxy respects only strength. You showed us that trust is weakness and kindness is foolishness. Thank you for the lesson. We will not forget it. The speech ended with words that would be remembered for centuries. The Human Star Empire guarantees the safety and freedom of all species that earn our trust. But any species that threatens human interests will discover why the galaxy now fears our name. Admiral Jinwoo stood on the observation deck of humanity's pride, looking out at the stars. Each point of light was a system that now acknowledged human authority. Each world was protected by human technology and human determination. The galaxy had wanted to see what humans were capable of when they stopped being nice. Now they knew. Humans were capable of anything when their survival was threatened. They could be patient enough to plan for years. They could be clever enough to use their enemies' arrogance against them. And they could be ruthless enough to destroy anyone who threatened their people. The age of human galactic dominance had begun. It was built on the ashes of alien betrayal and cemented with the tears of species who had learned too late that humanity's greatest strength had always been their ability to adapt and overcome. The galaxy would never underestimate humans again, and humanity would never again give others the chance to betray them. The war was over, but the peace that followed was a peace enforced by human power, human technology, and human determination to never again be victims. The galaxy had asked for humanity's friendship and thrown it away. Now they would live under humanity's rule instead. And that was a lesson that would echo through the stars for generations to come.